Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our December 2021 OSM community call. Please remember this call is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. If you're not familiar with the Code of Conduct, please visit the repo and read up on the Code of Conduct markdown file that's there. It has all the information you'll need to know. And with that, we'll go ahead and get into the meeting discussion. But prior to that, what we like to do, if there's any new members who have joined the call, we do like to see if you would like to introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about yourself and any info that you or anything related to the project that you would like to speak about or interested in.
Yeah, actually, this is Taka. This is my first time joining the community call, and I'm getting started to learn the OSM. But I'm a software engineer for many years, so I love to learn more detail and also figure out how to kind of grow the ecosystem around the OSM. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Welcome, Taka. And I know we may have some topics that we discussed that are coming up here, really around performance. We do have Alan, at least I thought we had Alan on the call. Oh, he's back, he's coming in and out. So I know Alan can talk a bit about some of the performance work he's done. He's actually did do somewhat of a deep dive in a prior meeting, but yeah, any quick questions, he can chat with you about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm just gonna take a look at the agenda. No real agenda items. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of go over some of the roadmap topics. So let me go ahead and just share out my screen here. And I believe I am sharing at this point. Okay. I'll go over here to the project board. One thing I will talk about is, so we're close to finalizing V1.0. There's just a couple of things that need to be resolved or finished out in the milestone here. Some of that's around a couple of docs that need to be updated, and as well as a issue that we were working close with an organization where there was an issue with some of the self-pod communication. So pods that belong to a service necessarily couldn't speak to themselves, within that service. So we're resolving that, and then so once that happens, we should be close to finalizing and having the actual V.1.0 out. So that's a good milestone for the project itself. Going forward, let me go back to the roadmap. So in the next month, we're probably going to be revamping the project board to be a little more clear on some of the work and what's kind of in flight. And what's probably not well represented here is some of our initiatives to make OSM a little more robust and feature rich. So we are working on issues around VM support, as well as ARM64 support. We got WASM filter engineering work happening, as well as some new asks around more secured environments. Some of this is mostly in healthcare, but also applicable in other secured environments. The ask for FIPS compliancy. And so I've already put out some of the tasks involved for that. So we're going to be looking to get that lined up and hopefully have OSM being FIPS compliant here in the next couple of months. Outside of that, we're also investigating, well, not investigating, we're investing more into the OSM help tool. And we're going to start to actually publish out the releases for that tool. So if you're not familiar with that, Johnson Shi had demoed this maybe a meeting or so back. So we do have our OSM health tool. And again, this is us just basically doing some interrogations on the control plane and all of its components, and to really give some insights on how OSM is operating and where to kind of focus attentions on if things go awry. So one of the feedbacks that we got from this is we don't have a release set up for it, and people didn't necessarily want to kind of compile this. So we're going to be setting up this repo to produce releases, and then you can just go ahead and grab those exe binaries and run the tool yourself. So we're going to try to add the easy button there for the community. Let me go back to the main repo here. Other than that, I think we have one issue in here. Let's see which one this is. I think it's 4349, which is oops, down there. And so we are going to be planning the post v1.0.0. And so some of the topics that we're looking at for v1.1.0 is around auditing the OSM controller logs, updating the Kubernetes resource, the CROs, updating the mesh config, the validating webhook, updating SMI policies, adding the Linux ARM support. I had discussed that a little earlier. It's actually in flight. And some of these other things are just using the Go control plane for some of these methods here, and snapshot cache, and then support for a hitless upgrade for Envoy proxies there. So again, we're probably going to build this out a little more. There's going to be an initiative. I'm going to be working with some of the maintainers here, and we're going to be again revamping some of the way the roadmap looks, and have a little more details about the backlog as it concerns to what's in flight for the particular milestone, and then all the activities that go along with that. With that, the only other things I guess I can kind of talk to is there's been a lot of chatter in the mesh community about proxy lists. And so we are indeed looking into that. It's a big topic. So we're exploring some of the options out there, eBPF, and so just to let the community know, that's something that OSM is looking at, and seeing how we can participate in that initiative, and where that may fit into a future release of OSM. And with that, that's all the updates I have for our roadmap. I'll go ahead and pause if there's any questions, and if not, if there's any other topics that anyone wants to discuss, we can go ahead and discuss that while we have myself and some of the maintainers on the call. Okay. I know, Talk, I know we were kind of having a sidebar conversation. Did you want to talk about some of those items that were of interest for you?
Yeah, first of all, like basically, I work with customers, and they use Istio and Knative, and but we are very curious about OSM advantage, especially around performance. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of OSM benchmarking. I can take a look at this point.
Yeah, so we are working on that. In fact, Alan, who's on the call, has been one of the main engineers focused in that area. We're going to be due to release our findings here soon. Most likely, this will be early in next year in the new year. But just to let you know, yeah, we have set up our own test harness that we were collaborating with Kinvolk, which was a recent acquisition here at Microsoft. They've done some of these testings against other meshes, so we've kind of basically took a lot of that guidance and tested it against OSM. So be on the lookout. I don't know, Alan, do you have anything specific that you want to chat about? I know you did talk about this a while back, but I don't know if there's anything new that you may want to share about some of the progress.
Yeah, I can share a little bit more. Is that I think in November I did the performance and scalability test with the Kinvolk service mesh benchmark tool. That was a manual process. So what I'm trying to contribute to OSM is that we're going to automate the process, and we are thinking a little bit further, and we're trying to build a soak test platform that can run the Kinvolk test automatically and periodically, so we can collect data in a much smarter way. I think we are going to discuss about the scope of this project a little bit more in early next year.
Yeah, and so we're going to look to have a pretty good detailed kind of published either blog or some document that kind of goes into all the particulars about the test. So yeah, be on the lookout for that.
And is there a link to this test tool you're using? Just to, I could run the testing tool, benchmarking tool on my Kubernetes cluster if there's something available in public. Yeah,
I think Kinvolk has some docs on it. I don't have that readily available, but Kinvolk does have a link, and it exposes kind of the test harness. We can look to maybe update the notes on this. I just don't have that link readily available. I don't know if you have that either, Alan, by chance.
Yes, the Kinvolk testing tool link is public.
Yeah.
But to work with OSM, there's some extra configurations you need to do. Right. I have it in my private GitHub repo, but we can chat offline if you need anything from me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good questions. Yeah, and I think Taka, there was one other point that you again in our sidebar. You were talking about the need for like the serverless platform on top of OSM, and you mentioned Knative. And so very early on in the project, we did have a call with the Knative team and talked about some integration points. We've just not honestly had a lot of signal on really kind of prioritizing that work. But again, we'd be very interested in, if you think that's something important and something that we should bump up in the backlog. It is something that we feel would enhance OSM. But honestly, it's just not been a focal point at this time for the project.
Yeah, so the reason I brought up Knative is, Kserve and the Kubeflow have a dependency on both Istio and Knative. And, so in order to free support OSM, basically, OSM is for Istio, but Knative, basically, I also have to work on OSM support for Knative if you don't have, Knative equivalent with OSM. So that's kind of a little bit challenge. Yeah, but I'm investigating, and I'm very curious to hear other kind of projects like in potential ecosystem requiring Knative and like a serverless kind of like a dependency and the requirements.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this. We just kind of we're just about to cut our V1.0, and so we've been kind of just a little focused on the robustness and performance of the project at this point. I think once we get past the 1.0, now we're going to kind of open up and look at a lot of other ecosystem integrations that are needed. So, possibly as we look into building our next milestones, we'll start to include projects like Knative and others. Having support. I know another one is like Kiali integration. We've had some early discussions with the Kiali team on an approach of building out like an abstraction layer, so where it'll support OSM and provide a UI as well. So yeah, we're gonna probably next year. Yeah, we'll be doubling down on really expanding ecosystem support. All right, great topics. Thanks, Taco, again for showing up and discussing those points there. Just gonna take a look at the agenda list. I don't know if there's anything new. Okay. All right. If there's no other comments from people on the call, we can go ahead and end early. Thanks for showing up. Our next call will be second Tuesday in the new year, 2022. So that's going to be January 11th, actually. So we look forward to everyone in the new year. So again, if there's no questions, comments to discuss, we'll go ahead and end the call, and hopefully everyone has a safe holiday season, and we'll pick back up here in the new year again, July 11th.
Yeah, hi Phil.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, yeah. Sorry to interrupt. So I was wondering, like, what will be the release cycle for 1.0? Like, when it will be release date for 1.2?
Yeah, I'm pushing for the end of this calendar year that we should see that. Again, some of the outstanding stuff is just updating some documentation, and we're finalizing up a issue we discovered where pods trying to communicate within a service to another pod was having some issues. And so once that gets resolved, we'll be ready to cut v.1.0. So again, yeah, hopefully that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but can't guarantee it. We do have a lot of our maintainers are out on holiday at this time. So we'll keep you posted, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Well, again, thanks everyone for showing up on this last call of 2021 for OSM. And again, we look forward to kicking off the new year, January 11th, 2022, with our first community call for the new year. Thank you all.
Thanks.
And again, have a safe holiday, and we'll see you in the new year.
Bye.
Thank you.
I guess.